I'm joined here today by the one, the only, of course, talking about Oliver Enkamp, coming up against Kyle Crutchmer at Bellator 272, December 3rd. What's going on, sir? How are you?
It's all good, thanks. I'm doing well, enjoying the Vegas heat. Right now, back in Sweden, I heard they just had to scrape the cars, so I bet there's snow coming soon. Um,
So how's training camp going so far? I know you did a good part of it in Sweden, then you moved sort of to the United States for the last portion. How's the training camp going so far with everything?
yeah, so far so good. I mean, there's always ups and downs, but I'm used to it at this point. It's such an unpredictable sport, and training is tough. So you have to overcome obstacles all the time. But this is the first time I've had a part of my fight camp here in the States, which is it's very cool because I'm able to not just like get new training partners and sparring and all of that, but just like getting away from breaking their routines is very valuable because all the distractions is so good to get away from, because back home I'm running my own martial arts gym, so I'm always busy, always doing things 24/7. But now I've been able for the past few weeks just to focus in on my own training and my own preparation. So it's been real good to be here.
How's the time change for you? Because I believe Sweden to Vegas, it's about 9 hours. How's that adjustment for you? 'Cause that's a pretty big one.
Yeah, it's a big difference, and I I researched a lot, like how to overcome jet lag before I came here. So I did all of these kind of protocols, like when you're supposed to sleep and not, and adjust your timetable a few days before you leave, and also like fasting because you have a circadian rhythm, like your clock is not only for sleeping but also for eating and stuff. And when I got here, I had no jet lag this time, so it really worked. And I've had a very good like sleeping and waking up schedule since I arrived here. And a lot has to do with the sun, I think, because when you get sun in your eyes, it starts that circadian rhythm clock in your head. And yeah, all of this works. So it's been working very well this time.
And so it's been a very long time since we last seen you compete. I believe it's going to be 14 months, something like that, a crazy long time. How's the body doing? How's the ring rust? I assume it's good to recover from injuries, but at the same time, like you do still want to go out there and fight.
Sure, yeah. I like to be as active as I can. So, when I was amateur, I fought every month, so that's 12 fights a year. But obviously, it's not that easy getting fights when you come up at this level as a professional. But I don't stress out about it either, because as I said earlier, like I have my martial arts gym, so I'm always busy. And to me, this is a long-term process. Like it's a lifestyle. So I see myself doing this until the day I die, and it's not a sprint to get to some title shot or something. So I'm not in a hurry to get fights. I just want to improve my crafts and get better day by day, and inspire people, help people out while I'm doing it. And yeah, that's my viewpoint of it.
So do you currently have a YouTube channel? I believe you're posting some videos explaining technique to people and different stuff. What's the deal with the YouTube channel?
Yeah, so it's actually my brother's YouTube channel. So my brother Jesse Enkamp, he's built this huge community online. They call themselves proudly the karate nerds. So he was kind of the first guy to start a blog about karate. This was like 15 years ago. And then when blogging was popular, and then it turned into a YouTube channel when YouTube became popular. So he's the biggest platform of karate online, I believe. And he follows me to all my fights, so he's in my corner, and he does like video logs. So he films my preparation, my fight camps, and then the fight itself. We break it down and we make like a detailed explanation of what happened. And sometimes I make guest appearances, like teaching techniques, or we make funny videos too. You should check it out. It's Karate by Jesse. It's it's very fun, and it's great to have this kind of collaboration with him, because we're both grown up with martial arts, but I chose like the fighting path, and he chose the more traditional martial arts side. And so we can like help each other out all the way. and I star in his movies, and he helps me with my fight preparations, and yeah, it's just a real good connection we have.
All right, so let's talk about this fight a little bit. I believe at one point you were supposed to return against Eric Silva. That fight ended up not happening. There's a lot of complicated stuff. Now you're facing Kyle Crutchmer. How did this fight come
Yeah.
together? Because I assume for you, like the name value is not quite the same, but a fight is still a fight.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I was real excited for Eric Silva fight, and I trained for that fight for probably 3 months. But first, we had a visa issue because all the embassies closed down in Europe, where you would need to go to get a visa appointment to be able to fight in the States, because I've never fought here before, only in Europe. And so the fight got postponed, and then he pulled out like 2 weeks or so before we were supposed to fight. So that was a real bummer. But then they rescheduled me with Kyle Crutchmer, and I hadn't heard his name before. Obviously, I want to fight someone in the top 10 ranking so that I can climb, because I'm number 10 right now. But then I looked Kyle up, and he seems to be a big name in wrestling. So there's still a lot of eyes on this fight, I believe, because he's known in other circuits of martial arts. So I thought it'd be good, and I can see the kind of matchup from a perspective of two young guys, chasing the title or whatever, and you have a more of a grappler versus more of a striker. So I think it makes for a very entertaining fight, and so of course I would accept this.
I imagine when you have a striker versus a grappler matchup, a lot of people would imagine that, the grappler would come in, just try to put you on the bottom and have you stay there for 3 rounds. How do you prepare for that sort of things? I assume preparation can't be as much fun as if you were preparing for a striker.
Sure, but the thing has been, if you look at my record, I think like 70% or something is submission victories, and I think most of my opponents have looked at me as a striker because of my karate and kickboxing background, and so we have gone to the ground, which I believe is like, if not my biggest strength, one of my biggest strengths. I've had very good wrestling and jiu-jitsu, so I don't look at myself as a striker. I think that's more something the fans do. But I look at myself as a complete mixed martial artist. And yeah, I think if we end up in a grappling situation or a clinch situation, um, I wouldn't be too worried. Obviously, I'll have an advantage on the feet, I think. Also, with the reach and not only the experience, but I'm prepared wherever this fight goes. And every fight camp, I try just to focus on my own skills in preparation, and not focus too much on what the opponent does, because I think that puts you in a mindset, in a defensive mindset, like you're playing his game, and I want to impose my game on him.
So with you fighting in the United States for the first time, what's been like the most fun thing so far? I assume for you as a fighter, it's got to be tough to stay away from some of the American food, because we know you mess around with that, you're gonna mess up your weight cut. But what's it been like, being
Yeah.
in America and knowing that you're gonna be fighting in this big market?
Yeah, it's very exciting. I love being here, and I have been here. Ooh, sorry about that. There's a dog right next to me. Yeah, I'm very excited to be here, and first time I came here was 9 years ago for a training camp, and then I've come back recently. I think it's my fifth time in Vegas, so it starts to feel kind of like a second home to me right now. Um, but just being in this environment at Syndicate MMA and in Vegas, which is kind of the fight capital of the world, it's very inspirational to be around so many like-minded professional fighters, where everyone does uh, as much as they can to, train hard, recover, eat well, and the vibes kind of like spread around you. So it's way different than being at home, where I do so many other things, and it's just very inspirational, and it keeps my fire up. Like every morning, I just wake up with so much energy and ready to do it all over again.
So, what does a win here put you in your Bellator career? Because, like you mentioned, you're currently ranked number 10. I believe that with 5-0, it has to be big things for you at this point, right?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I'm not the matchmaker, so I don't know their thought process. But so far, I have three first round finishes, and it has all come against very good guys. So this would definitely put me further up for like main event or for at least another boost.
Stick you in the car, you keep the stuff.
Sorry about that.
Sorry, it's I don't know if it's another dog.
I'm using the Starbucks Wi-Fi, so I'm I'm outside at the moment.
It sounds like they're going to put the dog in the car, though, at some point.
Yeah, perhaps.
All right. Listen, one last question for you. It's an easy one. You've heard it a million times, but that's how we end the interviews here. How do you see yourself getting the victory in this fight?
You got a spot, baby.
Yeah, so my first fight was against a grappler, a striker, and I won by submission. My second fight was against a grappler, and I won by a KO. My third fight was against striker, I won by submission, and this time I'm facing a grappler, so I'll let you do the math.
All right. We look forward to it, man. It's going to be a great fight. Thank you so much
Cool.
for the
Me
time. I
too.
really appreciate it.
Thanks, Brian. Absolutely.